Subscribe to Automation Studio channel and hit on bell icon to get the new video notification, and it's absolutely free.
Hi everyone, welcome to the next episode or session of APM Cucumber Framework. In this session, we will configure our automation project for Cucumber. For that, we will go to pom.xml and remove our dependencies section, and we will include this set of dependencies. Don't worry, I will post all these dependency in description section so that you can try from your side. And now you can refresh the project, go to Maven and click on this refresh icon. It will download all the dependencies, and it will load under your project as external libraries. So you can see all the external libraries has been downloaded successfully without any issues. You can see IO Cucumber related all the dependent jars we have. Also you can find all the dependent libraries has been successfully installed and downloaded for our Cucumber APM project. You can see here Selenium related libraries are there, and I will show you here is the IO APM, which we are using the latest version 9.3 as per to now. Okay, so I'm going to close it. All right, now our project is set up or configure for Cucumber Java. I'm going to show you a few libraries. This is IO Cucumber, and this is for APM, and this for TestNG, and we have JUnit library also. So I have added TestNG and JUnit both, and based on our implementation, we can use wherever we want. Let me close the pom.xml. Now, as of now, we have created a TestNG class, right? But now we are going to convert into pure Cucumber style. Okay. So now I'm going to create under test package one resource folder, because you can see there is no resource folder under test package and under main package. If you will expand main package, there is no resources folder, right? But we want under test folder because we are going to create our feature files under src test resource. Okay, so for that I will right click on the test and I will create new directory. Okay, and when I will click on directory, I will have an option of resource. So I just double click on it and it will create a resource folder under test package. So that is what I was looking for. I'm going to create one directory, say features, under the resource folder, and under this features folder I'm going to create my feature file. Okay, so it should be under src test resource, and under resource we have features folder. I will right click and create a new file, and here I will create a new feature file where I will write my test. For example, I'm writing here swag lab login, and I can say dot feature, right? So the extension should be feature. Okay, once you will hit enter, it will create a feature file. It will look like this. For that you need to install a plugin so that it will identify your IDE should identify the format of feature file. For that, go to settings and type plugin. Once you will type the plugin, you will see plugin section, and here you can type, so you have to type GHERKIN. Yeah, so this is the plugin you can download. Okay, this is what I am using. So it is helping me to recognize the dot feature file, so it will be easy to write the feature file using this ID. Okay, now here, now you need to know how to write a feature and scenario, right? So for that I will use feature. So let me prepare it one scenario, and then we will continue with this. So here I have noted down the feature scenario, and I have also opened the device for the reference. So it's a very simple scenario, just given user installed and launch um, SwagLab application in the mobile device, and we are launching the app, entering user ID and password, and tapping on the login button, and then user navigates to the home screen. That's it. Very simple. Okay, so this is what we are trying to achieve here. Okay, I'm providing in the double quotes these values so that it will go as a parameters, standard user and password. Okay, now looks good. Now what we can do, we can simply right click and run it because it says Cucumber test. We should get this option. We will enable annotation processing, and this is expected. This is expected why? Because we don't have the step definition as of now implemented. So in the Cucumber feature file will be linked with the step definition, right? So we are not able to find the step definition, right? It is missing. So we need to provide it, right? Now for that we need to create a package under our test, and then we will define a Java step definition file. Okay, so for that I will right click on com sl test package and create a new package, and I will say this package name as steps. Okay, and under this package I will keep my all the step definition files, right? So for that what I will do, I will simply copy these unimplemented steps till here. I can simply copy it. I will right click on this package and create a Java class, and I will say login steps. Okay, that's enough. Login steps. Let me maximize it, and inside it I will paste the code which I just copied, right? And now I will import all the given when then. Okay, just save it and just try to import, and after that I will remove all these unnecessary exceptions. Okay, so throw new Cucumber pending exception, right? Let me remove it, right? Okay, once we will clear it, we can feed our actual Java code here. Okay, which will be APM code. Okay, so these will be the logic of our step definition. All right. Okay, so now it's clear. Now save and try to run it again, and you can see that still you are not able to find the step definition, right? So in order to do that, we need to design a runner class, okay, which will run, and in the runner class we should have to provide the mapping of feature and step definition. So for that I will create another package called runner, and in the runner I'm going to create a new file which is the runner class. Okay, so I will say Cucumber runner, or yeah, Cucumber runner. Okay, so I have created the Cucumber runner class. Alright, so now in order to implement the Cucumber runner class, there is some special way to do it. So now I'm going to use one annotation called, I mean not one annotation, I will use two annotations for the JUnit Cucumber. Okay, so for that I will simply add Cucumber annotation here. So you can see add Cucumber options, which is coming from JUnit. So I'm going to use here JUnit runner for now, and I will use another annotation which is run with. So at run with. Okay, so at run with again from JUnit, and I will use Cucumber dot class inside it. Okay, you can see it is from the IO Cucumber JUnit. So you can see all the imports is from IO Cucumber JUnit. Okay, and I will extend the @Cucumber options. I will introduce feature, and then I will say glue, and then I will say plugins, and then I will say dry run is equal to true, and then I will say monochrome and it should be true. Okay, so these all properties has their own some meaning. Okay, feature where we will need to define our feature file. Where is our feature file? Glue. Glue is for step definition file. Where is our step definition file path is? In my case, you can see there is a step definition folder or package, right? So you can just open any step definition file and copy the package, okay, and you can go back to your runner and simply paste it. So it is defining like where is your step definition file is. And for features, you have to start from src. So you can say dot slash src because that dot is for current project, and under current project we have src. Then we have test, so slash test, and under test we have resources, right? Under test we have resources, so resources, and then under resources we have feature folder, so slash feature folder, and under feature we have our step definition file with name of swag lab login feature. So as it is, we can provide the path. So this is how you need to give your locate your feature file, okay? So where your feature file is located, where is glue located, okay? And now for the plugin we can just simply say pretty, and we're going to look into in details later, okay? So dry run false, but make it true because it will first check the mapping of your glue and your feature files, okay? It won't run the test in this. If you will put dry run as true, it won't run your test. It simply check the mapping. If anything is wrong, it will say something is wrong, okay? It's like a compilation, okay? Now we'll make it false, okay, and then run. In this case, if your Cucumber test step definition are correct, it will run the test, but your step definition file are empty, right? So in this case, it won't run the test, okay? It will just simply show you like it's ran successfully. Now what we need to do, we need to feed our step definition with some meaningful APM code. Now we need to adjust our automation code into step definition file, right? So we will go to step definition file and we will put our earlier automation code here. So we'll copy desired capability line and we will simply make it as a class object, and also we will do it for, and we will make it public, and we will do it for our APM driver. So just copy it, okay, and make it as a public and a class object, okay, and we'll make it as null, okay. So we simply copy it and then say null, and we'll move it to the first line, okay, and we will also make it null, okay. We'll copy a null and we'll move it here, okay. Now what we'll do, we will copy this desired capability, okay, and we'll paste here. We'll try it for iOS first and later we can try it for Android. So we are handling the exceptions, okay, in the try catch. And now I will move thread.sleep, okay, in some of the step definition just for sake of completion, that's it. So let me move it here, okay, and I will handle with try catch, okay, and the quit is left, right? So I will copy this line of code and I will put at the last so that at the completion it will quit the driver. Okay, so this looks good, okay. So now let me run my APM server, and if I will run my test, so my step definition class should now run the APM test, okay. So let me close the app. I should not run from here actually. Yeah, it will not run from here because there is no mapping of step definition and feature file here. We should run from our runner test. So let's go to our runner class, double click and run it. From here we should run. So run, and let's see. Okay, it is installing the app now, and here we go. Okay, so it is launching the app successfully. Very nice. It is waiting for 5 seconds and everything is done. Okay, so now we will try the same thing for Android. Okay, and see everything is works good. So for that I'm going to go back to my old code, and I will copy the capability for Android, and I simply change with iOS capability, or yeah, and here I will simply import my Android driver. So let me now launch my AVD, because it's gonna launch the app on Android, right? So I need to start my AVD. So now let's run it, and it should run. Yeah, it's running good now. So it is running both iOS and Android now. We are able to run the test through our feature file for iOS and Android. Alright, now the next thing is we have to extend our test for furthermore. Okay, we are going to feed other steps also. For example, putting the username and password and click on login button. Okay, so I'm gonna do it for iOS. So let me open the APM inspector, and by using APM inspector I'm going to do it for Android, sorry, not iOS. So let's do it for Android, and I open the APM inspector, and what I'm going to do now, okay, so user install the app. Okay, so installation process is over. Then user launch the app. Okay, we are just giving the sleep in order to launch. That's fine. Okay, after that user entered valid user ID. Okay, so here we'll say driver dot find element, and we will use apm by. Okay, so apm by is available in new version of Java client 9.3, and we can use here accessibility ID. Okay, so I can choose this accessibility ID, and I can say apm by dot accessibility ID. In the double quotes I can mention and dot, and I can send keys because I need to type, and I can pass this string. Okay, alright, so this is how it will enter the username. The same way I will simply paste, just I will change the accessibility ID of password. Okay, so this is test password, right? I'm going to copy it, paste, same thing, it will pass the accessibility ID password, and here I will simply driver dot find element, same thing, apm by dot accessibility ID, and I'm gonna find accessibility ID for login button. Okay, so click here is the login button, accessibility ID, test login, copy it, paste it, and here the action is click. Okay, because it's a button, so you need to click it, and that's it. And after that I'm going to wait for 5 seconds. Let me enclose it in a try catch block. Okay, I'm going to enclose in try catch block. That's it, done. Now we need to fix one more thing. We need to first close the APM session. Okay, and in the code we need to remove this APM driver actually, because we are going to use the class level variable, otherwise it is gonna create the problem. Okay, so we have to use the same driver. Okay, now we will run it, and we will run, and we will see how does it work. Let's see. So it is launching the test. it should enter the user ID, password, login. Perfect. It is logging into the application and it is quitting the app. Perfect. So it worked perfectly. Now we will do the same thing for iOS. Okay. So for that, I'm going to replace this code with iOS one. Okay. So I'm going to remove it and I'm going to use the iOS code here. Okay. So I'm going to copy it and paste instead of Android code. I'm going to include the exception. All right. Okay, let's remove this driver because we're gonna use the same class level driver. Okay, save it and let's try to run through the runner. Right click and run. Now let's see if we are going to run as a iOS, it is running or not. So let's see, it will enter the user ID or password or not. Okay, it is entering. Very good, nice. So why it worked here? So let's check. I will tell you the reason. Let me open the APM inspector and show you. Okay. Okay, so I will show you here. Let's see the accessibility ID for user ID, password, and login button are same for iOS and Android. Let's check. So here is the Android. I'm going to launch it again and show you. So you can see that the login, accessibility ID, test username, password, test password, and the login is test login. Now let's check for iOS, it is same or not. So I'm launching for iOS. You can see it's test username same, right? You can see same test username. The password is also test password, it's same, right? And the login is also test login, it's same. So that's why it is working for both iOS and Android. Okay, so this is the reason it was working for both of the application, but in your case it may not be the same. Okay, in that case you need to take care accordingly. Okay, we will see in our next videos, don't worry. Now we will change a bit our scenario. Okay, so now if we will pass the OS type from our feature file like Android or iOS, we can do it. If we will say user install the launch swag lab app on iOS mobile or Android mobile, so accordingly it will launch and it will do. Let's try this scenario. So we have changed the line in our feature file, so let's convert dry run to true and run so that it will generate again the step definition because there is change in the feature line. So we will simply copy, we'll go in step definition and we change it. Okay, and now based on this particular parameter we gonna say if string dot equals ignores iOS. Okay, and then we need to initialize the iOS, right? Let me move it to the top. Okay, and rest of the code let's shift it. Okay, and else if it is not iOS then it will be Android, right? So let's copy the Android code. Okay, and put it under here. Okay, also let's move the driver part. So if it is iOS, obviously it should initialize the iOS part. So this is the iOS, and in case of if it is Android, then it should initialize the Android part. So let me put the Android part here. Okay, this is the Android part. Let me put the try catch. Okay, and now it looks good. Okay, so whenever it will come to this if condition, accordingly it will initialize the driver. Okay, now under test runner put dry run as false again, otherwise it won't run the test. And now let's run it. it should run on iOS and it should launch the app, enter username, ID, password, and it should take to the home screen. Let's see. Okay, so it is working good. Now let's go to our feature file, and instead of iOS, so let's pass Android, and let's see it should run for Android or not. So I'm just changing in the feature file and running my test and see. Perfect. If I am changing into Android, it is switching to Android. If I am changing to iOS, it is running on iOS. So we have created our first Cucumber test via feature file, where you can simply pass Android or iOS and it will execute your test case on that particular environment. Very simple. Alright, so that's it for today's video. Please keep in touch and follow this series to learn Appium Cucumber with Java. Subscribe to my channel and I will see you on my next video soon. So stay in touch. Have a nice day.